Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. At this point, I'd like to apologize for the technical hiccup that we had earlier on. You know how these things go. Sometimes not what you want that you get. They say want is not get. So good evening once again. We're live on the Spotlight Show with me, myself, and I, DJ Kwasanti. And like I was telling you earlier on, anyway, you didn't hear me, so let me start everything afresh. I've got myself three nice gentlemen that we're going to be discussing the Spotlight Show today. And the Spotlight Show is coming to you from all over the world. But hey, when I say all over the world, it's London and the United States of Biden. I say. So I've got three solid DJs all the way from United States of America who are going to be discussing with me the topic that we've got for today, what makes one a good DJ. So without further ado, I will pass on to the one and only Mixmaster Berto. Mixmaster, can you please unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the viewing public?
Yes, sir. This is Mixmaster Berto. I'm currently based in Atlanta, Georgia. I still have ties and everything in the DMV. So I still represent the DMV. I've been DJing for quite a number of years now, but like I always tell everybody, I'm still learning. I still have a whole lot of things to learn. So the day you say you're a master is when you die. This is how I see it. And I'm here to talk, chit chat with my brothers, to try to shed some light on what makes a great DJ. Thank you.
Good. And I've got the one and only the VDJ inside the building. We don't usually hear about these people. What we know is the DJs, the DJs, the DJs, the DJs, the DJs. But hey, today you're going to know what it entails to be a VDJ. So I would like to pass on the mic to the one and only VDJ, Prince Paul.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwasanti. Greetings to the panel. All my partners on deck, all the Blackstar DJs, I'd like to say salute to everybody. Yeah, pretty much, basically, my name is VDJ Prince Paul, VDJ, simplify, pretty much, video DJ, as you all may know. I picked up on that as soon as we started dropping quality videos, which has been a minute. As you all know, actually, when it comes to the video right now, we are far advanced. So I decided to add that to my repertoire as well. I've been DJing for, quite a long time. What Berto said made me kind of I'm like, damn. Berto, you said 93, right? So I'm probably...
No, 99.
99, okay.
For me, yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm pretty much close to 27 years in the business.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. You never want to stop. If it's in your veins, it's in your veins. You want to keep up with the ladies, your research, all the good stuff. So yeah, I definitely take it very serious and, take it to the heart. You gotta love what you do. So
that's right. The way you say you're talking about 27 years, for me, it seems like yesterday. How do you feel about talking about it? It feels like yesterday,
I know. Yeah, you know what? Pretty much, if you are in the game and to be honest with you, we never used to have the technology that we have now.
Yeah.
Back then, you want to talk about turntable DJ, that's what I am. So when I see all this, the push button stuff that's coming out right now, it's kind of me, I find it very boring. I find it not challenging enough. But yeah, that's how way back I go. Cassette, So
no worries. We'll go into that. I've got the man that I know where he's coming from, all the way from Maryland. DJ Quex.
Yes, my brother. Listen, the numbers that these guys are throwing here, 20 years and 27 years. Charlie, I feel that when it comes to the DJ, I'm the youngest here. I've been in the game since 2010, I think. So about 10 years now. I started very late, very clearly, but I came in not only from the DJ angle, but also from the entrepreneurship angle, entertainment productions and stuff like that. So I guess the value that I bring to this discussion is that I have done a lot of productions, festivals, concerts, small events, large events. I have hired and worked with almost every DJ. I've worked with a lot of DJs across the US, DC, New York, Atlanta, LA. I've worked with a lot of DJs. I've seen the best of the best, and I've seen the worst of the worst. So I'm happy to share my experience. I'm happy to share my experience on what I think makes a good DJ. So back to you.
That's right. So that's about the discussion that we're going to have in today. The worst of the worst and the best of the best. And those that are in between as well. Today we'll dissect everybody. Well, gentlemen, welcome aboard the Spotlight Show once again. We'll move straight to the question of the day. What makes one a good DJ? That question, to me, is like some few words joined together, but I believe it's got a lot of explanation behind it. So I'll start with Prince Paul. Prince, what makes one a good DJ?
Well, thanks for that question. Pretty much it's simple, for me, to be honest with you, it's you got to have the knowledge, number one. Number two, you got to make sure that you cater to your audience. You got to make sure you know what type of music that you need to play at a certain event. Not just, pretty much you just pick up any song and just throw it on if it's just, you're playing a funeral per se. I mean, you just take anything and just throw it on. And last but not the least, you have to be very disciplined.
Great.
Now, these are the MO that I roll with, and also, to top it off, also every day, and I'm using the word day, as time goes on, every day you have to make sure you're on point, or you're on top of your game, and you got to keep your research flowing as well.
That's right. So I'll come back to you to ask something that you said. I said knowledge. I don't know if for that you have to go to University of Ghana to acquire that knowledge. I'll come back to you. Miss Master Beto.
Yes, sir.
I'll throw the same question to you. And to be honest, Prince Paul is saying it's very simple. So he's just outlined some few things that he thinks one should know to make the person a very, very good DJ. What are your thoughts on this same question?
Well, I mean, he's right. It's a very open-ended question, but there's some qualities we can't compromise on. So number one, he said discipline. I totally agree with that. You got to be on time. You got to have a routine. There's so many things that you have to be able to abide by. But for me, it's being adaptable and flexible. Okay, so you have people that just know how to do club parties. You put them in a private event setting and they don't know to cut back on the talking or play a different kind of music. So if you're not able to adapt to whatever environment you're putting, being a good DJ is not, you're never going to get to that good DJ status. The other thing is also knowing your music. And when I say knowing your music, we're talking about producer status, as in you have to know every beat in that music to be able to start a mix from the end of the song to the front, you know, and being able to turn things around. And then the third thing is being very creative. DJing is an art. It's like you're painting. So if they give you a very blank canvas and you can put anything on there and be creative with what you've been given, DJing is not for you. But I think what really stands out with the top DJs and the great DJs is their creativity, being able to take an instrumental from here and putting it into something else, and you know, being able to talk to the people. It's creativity at its finest. So that's my definition of being a DJ, a great DJ.
Wow. Today, we're getting all sort of, you know, understanding about being a good DJ. All right, the one from Maryland, give us your thoughts on this same question.
Okay, so I think Principal and Beto have hit on some of the very key points, right? So I think I'll add that, and maybe they've already alluded to this as well. I'll add maybe 2 or 3 things. One is getting your technicals on point. Technicals mean beat matching. This is just fundamentals, right? Beat matching, know your equipment, you know how to, you know, transition from one song to another, understand just technicalities of just what being a DJ is, right? The second thing I'll say is that I was going to say creativity. You know, better hit on that. So I'll skip that. I'll say one thing I'll say is showmanship, right? I think that you know, when we are answering this question, sometimes, you know, one has to think. You can play good music and be creative. Okay. But if your music is not moving the crowd, are you a good DJ? Because guess what? Sometimes you can play really, really good music. You can be as creative as you want, but the crowd is not moving. Are you still a good DJ then? Right? So, you know, being able to adapt in the moment, you know, listen, you can practice all you want in your room and know all your music you want. But when you're in front of the crowd, you have to take control. You have to look at what is happening and adapt. You have to interact. You have to do whatever it takes to make the crowd move. So in my opinion, what separates a great DJ from a good DJ, and you know, listen to my terms here very clearly. A good DJ can mix and match, is very creative, can do all the good stuff, right? But a great DJ knows and has command of the dance floor. If the creative stuff I'm doing is not working, they know how to improvise. They know how to adapt. They know how to use the microphone. They know how to add small elements here and there, whatever it takes to move the crowd. That's what a great DJ is. So I think that's probably my strongest point. Showmanship is for me what separates the men from the boys.
Wow. So that's really good. But from the way I hear you guys talk, I think everybody here is talking about technicalities in DJing, because we've been using words like having knowledge, discipline, being adaptive, being versatile, creativity, being technical and stuff like that. What will all this mean to a layman sitting at a party or listening to a DJ playing music, whether it's on radio or at an event? Because nobody knows. Sometimes our viewers and our listeners don't really see if someone mismatched something or not. So if you want to bring it down, for someone listening to you or that to the music that you're playing, knows that, this DJ is very good. In that sense, what will also make one stand out? So if Mr. Beto want to take this.
Yes, I mean,
to the layman sitting down at your event.
To the lame person, I mean, DJ sucks when nobody's dancing, like Kweku was saying. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah.
So going back to my first point, if you're not adaptable, if you're not adjusting to the crowd you have, and by that I mean right from the beginning of the party, we have issues. The only time anybody, the lame person, knows that, hey, this DJ is good is when everybody around this lame person that you're talking about is somewhat moving. So let's just say the party just started, but the guys are warming up and everybody's sitting down just nodding their heads like that. You can tell the party is going to be a good party just from the way the DJ started. But if the music is all over the place, the DJ can't figure out, okay, the crowd that's sitting there is, there's let's just say there's 100 people and 50 or 60% of them are in their 40s or 50s, and you're out there playing P.Y. Puyo or something like that. I mean, not to say his music is bad, but a group of 40-year-olds don't give a, you know what, about
Exactly.
P.Y. Puyo, you know what I mean? So
they don't want to be a goat.
Exactly. So, I mean, the thing is, like, and I'll use myself as an example. And I always tell people, I tell people, I say, listen, you have to be a little prejudiced. You have to be a little racist in your brain when you're going to these events. So for me, after I set up and people start coming, I actually leave the DJ booth and start walking around. I walk around pretending to be checking on my speakers or the wires. But in actual fact, I'm sizing the people up. I need, because half the time, the people that call me, I have no idea who they are. Somebody will see you DJ somewhere and be like, hey, can you do this for me? I like the way you play. Now, I don't know their people. So yeah, you probably might meet one or two people you like, but then, I mean, not you like, but one or two people you know. So right away, I have to be able to connect the dots and say, oh, I know this person is friends with that, and these people like this kind of stuff. So this is probably the route. But then you have to have plans A, B, and C, and D, and Z. That, okay, because they like this, I'm probably going to start with this kind of music. But no, today, the energy is not good. It looks like there was a death last week. So although they all like this kind of music, today they're not feeling it. So I have to start from somewhere else to be able to get them warmed up to what they normally would know. And this is adaptability. So you got to be able to size things up. You got to be able to say, hey, these people don't like I call it the yo-yo type of music. These people like the bush people type of music, and you have to play that. Oh, and if you don't, you better start downloading right now. You're going to flop.
All right. So Mixmaster Beto, with your submission now, to me, it boils down to the fact that you were able to get people onto the dance floor. So that brings about the goodness in you when it comes to DJing. But I don't know whether Prince is going to be agreeing with that, because Prince, let me ask you this: is it about you having people on the dance floor that makes people think you know your stuff, or sometimes, like Quek said, showmanship? Some DJ can play their songs and do their own showmanship, and everybody will be standing watching them and still feel the vibes. So is it going to be like, still you have to get people on the dance floor?
So now all this boils down to knowing your crowd. That's what it boils down to, okay? It's not about, you know, you can be a good DJ, okay? Sometimes you might not have, you know, quite a number of people on the dance floor, okay? But that doesn't mean that they're not vibing with you, okay? Now, to know how to read your crowd and to know the type of music to play, okay, at a certain event that you are, okay? One thing that Berto said that I like, okay, is you cannot go and play AY Puyo, okay, at a funeral. You know, guys, honestly, I have seen certain DJs who have done that, okay? You should know how to separate, let's say you're playing a funeral, an outdooring, or a wedding. You should know how to separate your gigs and know what songs to play accordingly. Okay. Yeah, you know, you might not have the whole entire audience on the dance floor, okay? But as long as you're vibing and the people are sitting there and enjoying and having a good time, that's also okay. Not that, you know, you can't get everybody on the dance floor. Let's be frank. Sometimes, you know, when the party is lit, it's lit. You know, it is what it is. But knowing what to play at what time and when.
Wow. Quakes, let me come to you. With what Beto and Prince just said, they've all used AYPOU, and I'm going to stress this question on AYPOU. So you could be at a party where probably the guest who invited you or whoever hired you to come and play has requested AYPOU, irrespective of the age limit or whoever is sitting there. And the guest does not know that the person who is actually having the party is a fan of AYPOU. And might want you to play like 3 or 4 or 5 songs from AYPOU. So does that make that DJ a bad DJ?
Well, I think that one of the key things is about, you know, being a good DJ. Is also having good judgment, right? Timing is everything. You know, yes, the client requested AYPOU, and if they hired you and they're paying you, you know, you have to find a way to play that, right? Now, if you have the liberty and time on your side, and you know, you can sort of incorporate that into your set at some point at the right time of the party, right? Just because they requested it doesn't mean that you go in there and start dropping AYPOU left and right. You know what I mean? And so it's all about timing. Timing is such a big thing. You know how sensitive the DJ, you know, when you're playing music in the moment, in the heat of the moment, everything is very, one small thing can just damage the whole energy of the party. And so when you drop the song, how you drop it, all of that really matters, right? And so I would say that, yes, the client has requested that you have to use judgment and play it at the right time, right? But sometimes the client is stubborn and they want you to play it at a particular time of the event. If you as a DJ, you think that's the bad time, right? You can let the client know you play it later or something, or if they insist, then what I do again is I'll put the client on the spot, right? I do what I call cover your ass, right? If I know what I'm about to do is wrong, and it's wrong for the party, at this point of the party is bad, put the face to the action, right? So call the client, let the crowd know, special request, whatever you want to say on the microphone, let them know that you're doing this special because this person is requesting this song, and that's how you can get away with it, right? So another thing I would say besides using judgment is improvising, right? Look, as a DJ, you'll be put in all kinds of awkward situations. Sometimes you have never experienced that. I don't care if you have 25 years of experience. Sometimes you're put in a situation where it's your first time. You have to deal with it. So being able to improvise in the moment really can save the day. So, you know, sometimes it comes with experience. Sometimes it comes with just using common sense. Sometimes it comes with just, I don't know what. But improvising in the moment when you're put in a rough situation, when it comes to playing a song that you think is a bad time, you know, I mean, it's not a good time for that time of the party. Improvise, figure out, and use judgment to play.
Yeah. All right. So, coming back to the question of the day, what makes one a good DJ? I think we're still dwelling on the technicalities of a DJ standing behind the 1 and 2. But let's look at this way. We've got DJs who play at radio stations and stuff like that, where there's nobody there watching them, or there's nobody there dancing for them to see. So this issue of you knowing your crowd and how to play according to the crowd. So if a DJ finds himself in a situation where you're on a radio station People are listening to you. You don't even know the kind of people that are listening to you. How should a DJ conduct themselves? Mix Master.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot say you don't know who's listening. You know about the radio station before you got on.
Yeah, but in this case, you're not seeing the crowd.
Yeah, you don't see them, but you know about the radio station. So let's put Adom FM and YFM together, right?
Yeah.
Apples and Buff Road, they are completely two different stations.
Uh-huh.
You have Adom FM being more of the traditional tree speaking type radio station, and then you have YFM also being more for the younger English speaking. They engage in more concerts and parties. You know, they do more things for the younger crowd. So don't expect your aunt who's 65 or 70 to generally be sitting on the radio listening to YFM. They'll probably
but my aunt can be 60 or 70, but is young at heart.
We're looking at numbers here.
Yeah.
We're looking at probability. We're looking at numbers. So just because your aunt is young at heart, don't necessarily mean that there's 100% of 70-year-olds listening to YFM. Every radio station has a personality. Every radio station has some kind of crowd that they appeal to. So as a DJ, which is a huge thing, a DJ has to be able to do that research to understand and know what exactly they're walking into as far as their station is concerned, and what program they're actually going to be DJing on. So if it's Aware Munsem at 10 p.m., you're not going to go play some party songs. Aware Munsem is more of a laid back slow, so you probably might have to play some R&B, some loud music to go with the theme of the show. Make sense? So it's a lot of research you have to do as a DJ. You can't just say, I don't see the people, so I'm just going to play whatever I want. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. All right. So Prince, categorizing DJs from all this angle, just like Mixmaster has explained when it comes to radio DJing, and then those that do parties, funerals, weddings, and stuff like that. Where would you want to place it? Do we still have the choice to say, once the person is behind a controller or a mixer, a turntable, we can still, mix them together and say, oh, okay, I would want to compare this DJ who played this wedding to that DJ playing the Friday night party on YFM.
No, you can't. You can't. So let me give you a perfect example. So, to touch on a little bit on what Berto said with the radio station DJ. So you could have a radio station DJ who's really actually good, okay, for his or a radio audience, but when it comes to coming out and playing a live show, it's a different ball game altogether. I know quite a number of them actually, and I've worked with some of them too. Because if you are at a radio station and especially you are not doing live and you're at the radio, you can pretty much, just you showing up your skill, okay, to an open audience out there. So it doesn't matter. You are not getting any live, feedback or somebody sitting over there giving you dirty looks in the middle of a crowd or anything. I mean, who cares? So you will be on top of your game. But when you leave the radio station and you come at the live program, okay, let's say an outdooring, I mean, you pretty much like, okay, what do I play? Do I play? Because most of them play like they are on the radio, and you can't do that. You cannot do that. You have to know how to separate the two. So we can bunch all of them together.
So
Wow.
this is where you know, when I started, I said you have to be a very adaptable person.
Mm-hmm.
If you cannot adapt, and adaptability comes with being able to change. So there's a certain way to do radio, and there's a certain way to do that wedding, or that outdooring. You can't just be scratching and throwing songs left and right at a wedding. You probably can when maybe the dancing is in full effect, but you can't just start doing that and cutting the music short and be talking over the song and all that good stuff in a wedding setting or in a corporate setting. So you have to be able to know where you are, and like Prince Paul said, you have to know your crowd. You have to be very adaptable, and then you know, and I think when all these little pieces come together, it complements what Kweku said about showmanship. I think if you're able to put all of these things together, your creativity level goes up, and you feel good about yourself, and you're actually able to do the whole showmanship thing where, you know, you're cutting and pasting here and you're scratching here and there, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Quex. Let me ask you this. When it comes to DJ, all three of you, and also the comments that are coming from Facebook, I've not heard anybody say something about equipment when it comes to DJing. Do you think equipment do not play any major role? Because someone can be good, but the sound quality at an event might be, you know, something I don't want to mention. So do you think equipment also play a major role for one to be a good DJ?
Yes and no, right? Yes and no. Like I said, one of my key points was, you know, getting your technicalities, your fundamentals down, right? You knowing how to adjust your sound and to get the best quality sound is important. You knowing how to, you know, turntablism. Some people are very good with a turntable. Some people know scratching. Some people know, you know, controllers and all of that, right? Now, remember this. At the end of the day, you know, I guess this is my business side speaking. At the end of the day, no matter how much you've put in the product, in this case, your product is music. No matter how, your mix, no matter how much you put in your product, right? You are going to present it to your customer. Yeah. The customer would decide whether they like or not like your product. So you can have somebody that is very experienced. They are more like a sound engineer. They have mastered the sound to the T. They know how to adjust everything, and they can give you the best sound. But they are not as creative. They don't understand their crowd like that. You understand? Or some DJs just play for themselves. So, look, I've seen DJs who stand behind the tape and they will be enjoying their own mix, you know, for days. You understand? So I think that it's yes, because look, if you get all those things right, in addition to understanding what it takes to be a good DJ, right? Then it works in your favor, right? It works in your favor and adds to the experience. Because let's face it, if you're good and your sound is very bad sound can also really destroy the vibe. You know what I mean? Bad sound can also destroy the vibe. And so if you know you're not good at tweaking your sound, maybe you can, but you're a good DJ, you can hire a sound engineer and you know, as a partner, and you guys roll together if you want. But you should understand that the sound quality is good. And in order to get the sound quality right, you need to understand something about your equipment, right? Now, when it comes to technicalities as to turntablism and all of that stuff, right? Look, that can add to your creativity. If you're good at it, and you know, there are some times when, you know, from one event to another event is different, right? So, for example, if the focus is on you, you are at a festival, the focus is on you, and you are on stage. Listen, it's your time. You're going to rock the crowd. You know, you want to leave them with something to remember. Look, you want to put your best. If you're good at turntable, let them know. This is your time to show off. You know, you can do whatever every DJ do, and you can add a little bit of, you know, something, you know, to it. But your turntablism shouldn't shouldn't trump, shouldn't, you know, overshadow your music. You can scratch all you want. If your music is bad, your music is bad, and nobody's going to respect that, right? And so yes, the technicalities I think can help if you already know what it means to be a great DJ. And it does, and it wouldn't matter if you don't, right? If you don't know how to DJ, your technicalities will not matter. But if you're also a great DJ, I'll say that yes, you should really spend some time with your equipment, because your equipment can add to your creativity. There are some things that you just cannot do with certain equipment. Simple as that, right? And so if you understand your equipment, I think that it can really help with the creativity.
Wow. So I'm going to pick this one straight from Facebook from one Frederick Ajavon. He is talking about modernization and technology in the DJing industry. Yeah. Before I put up this question, when I saw this, it came to mind that, okay, sound quality wise, we've not talked about it yet. It still falls under the technicalities that you were just talking about. But I will ask Prince, when it comes to modernization of stuff that DJs use, someone was maybe a CD player or whatever. Today is upgraded to buy like the most sophisticated controller, but really doesn't know how to press the buttons. All he knows how to do is maybe play good music, good selection of songs, maybe add like the showmanship side of it, talk, and you know, the crowd is still happy. But you being a DJ sitting down there knows that this guy could do more than what he is doing.
Absolutely.
Does that make that person come into this category where we can also call him as a good DJ? Because I think this is very broad.
Well, I tell you what, man, the technology these days, man, I mean, if you see, you know, the stuff that we're using right now, I mean, our classic turntables, you know, has been turned into a digital effect. I mean, it's crazy. It's unbelievable what's going on right now with technology. But I'll tell you what, I know certain DJs as well that I think are trying to become a DJ. So the best thing probably to do, okay, if you pick up one of these new technologies that we use to play music nowadays, you may want to master your craft before you come out. And you know, I'm also trying to advise, you know, some of these upcoming DJs, because don't just come out because you have the most fanciest stuff and, you know, you want to show off your, you know, but at the end of the day, you don't even know how to, you know, operate it. That does not help you being qualified as a DJ. And I'm sorry to say that, but there's a lot of DJs out there like that because they can afford the equipment. Just because you can afford, you know, to buy, you know, a hot controller, you know, that's a lot of things, or, you know, these modernized turntables does not make you a qualified DJ because you have no clue on how to even blend a song together with this new technology that we're using right now.
Wow. All right. So now let's come to specifics here, because I believe since we started this whole conversation, we've been going round and round and round. We've not actually come to a point where someone who is not a DJ listening to us or viewing us now will really know where to stand as to when he wants to go by the word a good DJ or select a good DJ. So now let's shift a little bit. I've got a question on Facebook. Someone is asking, demographic as an issue here, where you've got a DJ that knows how to play high life, but you've gotten to an event and the people are from the Caribbean. You're given the stage. Show your skills, show your versatility, or whatever you've got, and then let the crowd move. But meanwhile, you call yourself a DJ. So okay. How do you position yourself in a situation like this?
So first of all, I mean, you have no business being at that gig. I don't care how good.
You've been invited.
Well, like, yeah,
You've been
we were invited.
Yeah.
Being invited is different from being asked to play. And this is where we're not honest with ourselves as DJs at all. Okay, so you said the person was a high life DJ. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say a Ghanaian DJ.
Okay, that's fine. Okay,
plays
so
also all genres of music when it comes to the African continent. Now you find yourself in the Caribbean.
The mistake.
To a nice girl there, said, "Oh, I'm in Ghana. I'm a DJ." They say, "Okay, then let's go out." The misses people is like, "Oh, my new guy is a DJ, you know, from Africa," and then they give you the turntable and whatever.
So let's be honest here. Okay, so like I said, the person had no business getting behind a turntable because of the girl or whatever it is that you want to call it. Okay. Now, every DJ has a specialty. Okay. So we said the person was a high life DJ.
Yeah. And
you have people that are, we call it open format DJs. Okay. So not international per se. Well, you can call it international. But when you have an open format DJ, that DJ plays from a very wide variety of genres. So he can play some hip hop, he can play, yeah. Now, if the person has not specialized in, say, dancehall or soca or whatever it is, and he has a little bit of that, and doesn't feel good about it enough to want to expose himself, I wouldn't get behind it. I mean, there's so many gigs that come to me that I just push away and say, listen, I'm not going to go make a fool out of myself, because it's not like I can mix the two. I just haven't done my research to be able to be successful there. And this is where DJs have to stop being honest with themselves, because you're getting people that are taking all these gigs and making a fool out of themselves and destroying events for no reason. So yes, being adaptable is very important. But being adaptable don't mean that if I haven't done my research on that particular genre, I'm still going to go there and pretend I can DJ. Let's just say, to be honest with you, this high life DJ that you're talking about is probably one of the best DJs in wherever he is.
Yeah. But
just hasn't specialized or just hasn't done his research in Caribbean music. You just have to be very honest with yourself and say, hey, that is not my, I don't spend time, I haven't spent time trying to research into that, because the Caribbean, the dance hall and the Caribbean music that we play as Ghanaians, it's crap to the Caribbean person who's just coming from Jamaica. We play a lot of old stuff. They don't even listen to anymore. For us, it's so good. But then if you put this same set in front of club going Caribbean people, they're going to be like, whoa, what is it doing? You know what I mean? So we got to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be able to do that research. And if you're not good at it, it's okay. That's the one thing we have to understand as DJs. It's okay if you do not know a certain genre of music. It's okay. Because music is so big, it's so broad, and you cannot master every one of them. So if you don't know how to do hip hop, that's fine. Stick to your high life and master it. You know what I mean?
Even though the high life is not bringing money.
Well, if it's not, like I said, then spend time, do your research into whatever else before you come out. But you can't go out there and say, I can mix. So I'm going to attempt. This is somebody's wedding. This is somebody's hard-earned money that is spending on this event. And I'm not going to go and make a fool out of myself. Number two, if I don't succeed doing that, I'm not going to get another gig because I just flopped. And that's my name on the line. You know what I mean? So we got to be very honest with ourselves.
Yeah. So Quex, earlier on you agreed with Mixmaster Beto on being adaptive and being versatile. Now, one will ask per the suggestion that Mixmaster Beto, or the point that he just made, does versatility plays a part in this point where you can say, yeah, I'm a DJ, I'm supposed to be versatile, so therefore Let me go for it.
Of course, I think he's strengthening his point with that, right? He's pretty much saying that, listen, in order to be versatile and move from one genre to the other genre,
yeah,
you have to know the genres and you have to do your research on both genres. Because, listen, if you're playing to a Ghanaian audience, and let's say you're playing the recent songs, you're playing the Kwame Eugenes, the King Promises, you know, all that, to a purely Ghanaian audience, you should know that there might be a point of the party where you might want to drop Amachi Dede or a Daddy Lumba or Kujenchi and then bring it back. And so if you know Ghanaians enough, you know exactly which Amachi Dede song will let them go crazy. Because you know Ghana, you know the people, you know what they react to, you know how they react to, right? And so he's saying you should have the same amount of understanding for any other crowd. You should have the same, you know, level of understanding for any other crowd. So yesterday you're playing to an all-white audience. What is the version of the Kujenchi song that you play that will let Ghana go crazy? Mm-hmm. Because music is also history, right? You have to know the songs that people have been rocking to, so that in the middle of the party, if you really want to do something super creative, and especially if you have an audience that is a very wide age, you know, age gap, right? So from, let's say, all the young and the old people all in one place, and you want to please all of them, you have to know the songs. You have to be able to understand the history, the songs that have been hit upon hit from the past, and then bring it back to the current. And so Beto is pretty much saying, look, if you're not comfortable with the genre, then you cannot be versatile. You cannot adapt from one genre to another genre if you don't know the damn song, if you don't know the people, if you don't know the music. So to me, what he's saying, he's strengthening his point by saying that the only caveat he's saying is that, look, you can be versatile if you know the genres. If you don't know the genres, then you cannot be versatile. Don't take a gig.
Where does that put you as a DJ, or the good DJ that we're talking about here?
Well, the being so I think, because I think this is the main point. Being a good DJ, one of the key points of being a good DJ is doing your research, right? Just because you have 4 Caribbean songs does not make you a Caribbean DJ. Nope. Right? Just because you know the top 10 old Caribbean songs does not make you a good Caribbean, or the ideal DJ for a Caribbean audience. So the point is, do your research and know the people. And Principal also said that, know your audience, right? And so I think so just because in the name of being able to adapt, you can't just take any gig. You don't even understand the people. You go and stand on stage, and then you go and play 2 or 3 Caribbean, so to an all Caribbean audience, and then you say, I can be versatile because I have 4 Caribbean. So no, versatility is not what you want. The versatility is the preparation and how much you understand, you know, of the audience and what kind of music you have for them. So that's what versatility means.
But in this case, Prince,
yeah,
you guys are still getting me a bit confused here.
Okay.
Now, let me narrow it down to this question. You are at a party. You've spoken to the client. Oh, okay. I'm having say a Ghanaian South African wedding. That's fine. You know it at hand. Now, you prepare yourself according to what you've been told. You've gotten to the venue. You started playing. South Africans are coming now. At a point in the gig, you get to know that there are some people who also follow the South Africans who are from Zaire or from Botswana. Mm-hmm. And it's come to your attention, oh, I've got some people from this part of the one who hired you doesn't really think like you did prepare before coming. So you've psyched yourself to play according to
what they said.
You understand? Now, there has been a mix of people. And we all said earlier on that you need to be adapted to the crowd that you're playing to. So in this case, what does that place you?
Well, that's a great question. And only experienced DJs can pull, that kind of event off. I mean, most of my weddings that I play, okay, are like that. So in this case, technology is far advanced. You know what I mean? And don't feel like you're too proud. Sometimes if somebody comes to you from a different country, right, and you are playing, songs, and they come and just request, maybe, a Congolese, or let's say maybe, maybe a Francophone song or something, and they tell you, oh, do you have the song? Okay, don't feel too proud to, get the name of the song, because, hey, you have your phone, you can pretty much, share the internet and just download that song, just grab it, because it adds to your skill. That's why you always have to be prepared for the unexpected. Okay, as a polished DJ, you always have to be prepared for whatever happens, because anything can happen. Anything can happen at any time, and you have to be prepared for that. And that's how I've trained myself and my team to operate, because you never know.
Can I piggyback?
Yeah, so Mr. Beto, before you continue with this, I was going to ask you the same question. In such a situation, will you say, like, you per your earlier submission, will you say it's shifted to what I think I know, so I'm not doing this?
No, I wouldn't say that as a professional experienced DJ. There's times where you do an interracial wedding or something like that, and like I said, do your research. Okay, so there are songs that the region of the people that you're going to. So if I'm doing a South African wedding, best believe that this South African is not just friends with South Africans.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know that there's Zimbabwe, there's Zambia, there's all those countries around. So there's a chance,
right,
there's going to be one person. And believe me, that one person will nug you the whole time for that Zambian song or whatever it is. So your first research should be what the host gave you. Your next research should be, okay, what are common songs around the South African region that everyone likes to listen to? Because the songs are traveling all over the place. You know what I mean? So I have to be, and this is me, and this is how I prepare for events. So I go into Zimbabwe, I go into Mozambique, I go into all these places, and you're going to realize that there's like 4 or 5 songs that all these countries really like. And you know what? It's from Ghana. Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah. I will not fail. I will not be in trouble at this wedding, because I know that when push comes to shove, I'm going to throw those 4 songs in there, and I'm going to get everybody dancing, which gives me time to try to get that song that this person is disturbing me with, like Prince Paul was saying, to download. Use your hotspot, whatever it is, and get that song in. So, like I said, being adaptable and also being prepared, doing your research. You can't just say, I'm going to go do, okay, so it's I did a Congolese and a Filipino wedding. I mean, how they met, don't ask me. But all of a sudden, the Congolese, we're doing Kanda Bongo Man and all that stuff. And the Filipinos are looking at us like, okay, what are we going to do? So you're supposed to have done your research to know that, okay, the Filipinos also listen to this kind of American music or whatever it is that will unite the two together.
Mm-hmm.
If you thread on only Congo music, then it becomes a one-sided event. So you want to be able to bring both parties together to be able to have a successful event. But so you have to be able to do your research well. Just don't do a narrow one-sided research and show up at an event and be like, okay, I'm good.
Wow. Quex,
I think we got a lot of. I think
going for. Okay, go on, Prince.
I think you need to pay attention to Facebook because they're throwing some questions at us. That's
right. I'm looking at Facebook as well.
Okay.
But I can honestly say Facebook audience are not in agreement with you guys at all, because they are still bent on the fact that adaptability and versatility should be your number one key.
I mean, isn't that what we're talking about? That's what we're talking about, right? We're saying you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be very.
But you know, we've not actually come to a stand where we can say, okay, we all agreeing that this is how it goes for one to be called a good DJ. It's kind of, we are divided it into sections. So if one particular DJ falls into this kind of section, in
I
that
disagree.
area, he's good.
Because I disagree with that. I disagree with that. We all
what
giving.
we're talking about. That's why I wanted to narrow it down to where the unexpected happens.
Right. But we are saying about. I don't think you're listening. What
I am.
what I'm telling you is this, right? We are not. What you're saying is not any different from what we're saying. So Albert's original point was, look, you have to be versatile and be able to adapt, right? And you said, what if you're thrown in a situation where you are a Ghanaian DJ and you're playing in front of a Caribbean audience? And he said, well, you still have to adapt. He didn't go against that point. He said, but in order to adapt, you should be prepared. If you know that, you can play a Caribbean audience, what he's saying that in that case, don't take that gig, because it's important to adapt. It's because it's important to adapt. That's why you have to be prepared. Right. And so let's say you're playing a high life DJ and you go to a Caribbean audience and you're playing. And yes, let's say you only have 4 Caribbean songs. OK, fine. You can adapt. Right. But you haven't done your research. You only have 4 songs. OK, you've adapted. You've mixed it nicely. You put in something in the high life, whatever it is. Right. Then you've finished playing your 4 songs. The Caribbean people want more. How are you now adapting? You are now going to go onto Google and all kinds of things to download more songs. You can't. At that point, you're messing up the vibe. And so what we are saying is this: yes, it's important to adapt. However, in order to adapt well in any situation, you must also do your research. That's really what we are all saying, right? You must also do your research, because good research allows you to move from South African music to Zimbabwean music to Zaire music smoothly, seamlessly, but it's because you actually have the music and you know the people. And so every good DJ knows that, you know what, even though I play primarily to an African audience, every good DJ knows that, you know what, I have to do a little bit of research on EDM. I have to do a little bit of research on pop. I have to do it. So every good DJ has folders for any audience, right? For any audience, because remember, you asked your question very specific to a scenario, and so we answered it that way. But a great DJ prepares for any audience, right? Now, it doesn't mean that you can play 1 hour to an EDM audience if that's not your specialty, if that's not your typical crowd. It just means that you have enough that if there's an EDM audience in a Ghanaian crowd, you can adapt. You can switch it up real quick and come back, right? So we are agreeing with Facebook. We are agreeing with everybody that it's very important to be able to adapt, right? However, your ability to adapt also means that also depends on how prepared you are for any audience in any situation. So please factor that preparation into that being the ability to adapt. I think that's the key point we're trying to stress, right? I think you're trying to dismiss the fact that the research is important. And what we're saying is that those two go hand in hand. Those two go hand in hand, Kwasati.
No? Okay.
So there's something
before we go for our commercial break, I've got a question from one Henry M. Hermans. He is also stressing on the fact that it's not about specialization. So now I've got 3 keywords here. We're talking about adaptability, versatility, and then another one has come, which is specialization. If we're going to be asking who is a good DJ, where do we place this person? Because there's no way you can have all these 3 together. But before we answer that question, if Selassie is ready, just hit me with a breather, and then we'll come back to this question.
Star DJs. Ghana, stand up. Blackstar DJs Worldwide, about to make history for Ghana music. For the first time ever, over 200 of their favorite top Ghanaian DJs across the world coming together to create the largest online Ghana music platform, to the Blackstar DJs. Blackstar DJs. All your top Ghanaian DJs worldwide. Follow the Blackstar DJs movement on Facebook and Instagram for updates at Blackstar DJs Worldwide. Or visit our website now to book top Ghanaian DJs for your next event anywhere in the world at www.BlackstarDJs.com. Let's go, Ghana.
Well, welcome back, people. It's still the Spotlight Show with me, myself, and I, DJ Kwasante. I've got the man VDJ Prince Paul, Mix Master Berto in the building, of course, DJ Quex all the way from Maryland. Today is a local derby. Oh, Yankee, what did I say? So, yeah, so back to what we were discussing, and we've got just about 15 minutes to end the show. So I think we'll just make this real quick. 3 keywords here from all the discussions that we've had. We've talked about versatility, being adaptive, and then another one is coming, specialization. Someone also just put something that there could be a DJ who plays only house music. He doesn't play any genre of music. So where do you put that person? Do you compare that person to someone who plays high life Afrobeat and say dancehall?
There's one thing we have to understand, okay?
Okay, tell us.
There are doctors, right? Even a dentist is a doctor, okay?
Yeah.
But then all these doctors have specializations. We have the pedics person, we have the surgeon, we have a brain surgeon, but they are all doctors, okay? So why did the person choose brain surgery over general physician? And then we have a general doctor, general physician who kind of can tell you, hey, you have malaria, you have this, you have that, okay? So why did this person pick to do only gynecology versus pedics? Because they liked pedics. That is why they like kids. That's why they picked pedics. So if this person just plays house music, good for them. But there's one thing that goes for all doctors. One thing that goes for all doctors. You know why?
Yeah.
They are disciplined, which we've talked about. They've done their homework.
Yeah.
So before the patient comes, before the nurse gives the diagnosis or whatever it is, or the symptoms to the doctor, they kind of look at, okay, they have this, they have that, they have that. So what could be the possible this and that and that, which is they have done their research, they've done their homework. They're also able to adapt, as in, just because I gave the person ibuprofen last time because this person had these same symptoms, don't necessarily mean that this new case is also going to work with ibuprofen. Does it make sense? So yes, the house DJ, good for them, but the house DJ needs to have these underlying qualities as a DJ. The house DJ can DJ in Boston, Massachusetts and flop in Miami or Vegas because they didn't adapt to the crowd in Vegas. The Vegas crowd, everybody was on drugs and want to jump. Whereas in Boston, they're kind of laid back, but they still like house music. So adaptability still comes into the picture here. Does it make sense?
Okay.
Preparing for the gig also comes into play here because the Vegas crowd or the Miami crowd is not the same crowd in Boston. So yes, it's another DJ, another quality of a DJ. And then you have the you were in Vegas doing house music, and then you have Snoop Dogg show up at the club. Because your house DJ don't necessarily mean that you only have to have house music. You have to have a little bit of something to save your life. So if Snoop Dogg shows up at the club, again, you have to be able to play one or two Snoop Dogg songs or some hip hop songs just to change things up and go back to your house music again. So
yeah, but Mixmaster, you are the same person that said that if you get to play a particular genre of music which you know you're not comfortable with, leave it.
Like I said,
is it because you've seen Snoop Dogg?
No, okay. So like I said,
do some showmanship.
I would not take the gig. I would not take that gig because I'm not good at it. But if I'm there and I have, like Quicks was saying, I have to have at least 2 or 3 songs to save my life and go back to what I was doing. I'm not going to play hip hop the whole time because I saw Snoop. That's not what I'm going to do.
So even if Snoop is going to stay for the next 2 hours, you just play your 4 hip hops and then you're done.
Yes, because Snoop knew that he was going into a house techno club. This is what we do in this club. I'm not going to change what we do in this club because Snoop is here. Now, if you've been to Vegas before, there's a lot of house clubs over there. Every now and then you hear some Davido, and then you go crazy, and then you go back to house music again, and you're like, oh, what just happened? That is the mark of a true DJ.
Can I jump in? Can I piggyback?
Yeah. Come in, Prince.
Okay, so this is a very interesting topic. You know what?
I think we'll continue with this. Don't worry.
Absolutely. You know what? To be honest with you, it's okay if you've mastered your craft just playing, let's say, you are good in playing funerals. It's okay. If you are expecting playing adorings, it's okay as well. But make sure that I personally, think if like, you know how to play funeral well and you've mastered it and you are good at it, it's okay to just, understand yourself that, hey, listen, this is what I'm good at. So, let me keep practicing and be better at it. Okay? You don't need to be versatile if you don't want to, and yet by force. You don't have to. Okay? If you choose to be an experienced, solid funeral DJ, that's okay. If wedding is your, you're more of your field and you master that as well, that's perfect. And overall, okay, if you can adapt, okay, to everything, okay, as an experienced DJ, that's okay too. So, there's no wrong or right here. Just make sure that whatever you're doing, you are doing it to the best of your ability. I mean, that's the little that I can say as far as, you mastering your craft. I'll turn it over to Quakes and see.
Yeah, Quakes, let me ask you this one. There's a question from Facebook, DJ Sir Richie. He's asking sharing of sets. So it boils down to what we're discussing here. Is it okay for you to share your set with someone else, just in case, if someone comes in and the person, you're not good in playing that kind of, there's a particular set of crowd at your party where you cannot make them feel happy, and there's another DJ who can really help you do that. Does that take anything away from you as a DJ? Hold up.
You confused me with the question. So are you asking questions about sharing your set, or are you asking about whether as a DJ you should give up to another DJ if you are not good at a particular genre?
Yeah, if you can do it.
I'll say yes, because I think you've answered the question with, you've answered the question by asking it that way, right? If you yourself have accepted that you can do it, why bother, right? So for whatever reason, if you think you can do it, if you've at the point where you think you can do it, yeah, then yes, give it to let another DJ take over, for sure, because you're doing a disservice to the audience. You know, if you think you can do it. Now, I think that might be completely different from the sharing of set question that you had on Facebook, though. Kwasante.
Yeah.
I think you know, whether or not you should give up if you can do it, I think that is a little different from the question you saw on Facebook, because for me, that's pretty obvious. If you have gotten to a point in a set where you think you can't do it anymore, then yes, let another DJ take over.
He's trying to suggest that in an event where you've gotten to that point where you think, okay, there's a certain amount of crowd that you cannot play to their satisfaction, you've got the option to share. That's if there's someone to do it better than you can do.
Now, this is my thing though. There are a few scenarios there. I think that if you're giving up because you genuinely believe that you can play for this audience, then yes, let another DJ take over if they're available. Now, if you're giving up because maybe you're expecting a certain kind of reaction, right? You know, these days everybody is going live on Facebook and Zoom and all kinds of things, and you know, I can imagine how difficult it might be for somebody that's used to playing live in front of a crowd, and so. You know, this is a typical scenario of you're not getting the normal energy you get every day with a live audience. This live audience is dead, right? You know, and so, you know, if let's say you've just started the party, even if it's live, you've just started the party, and you're expecting that as soon as you start, everybody will be jumping. You know, sometimes it takes a while for the party to build up, and so if just believe in yourself, and if you have prepared and ready to go, believe in yourself. You know that it's, you know, you can make it happen, and let the energy build. But if it's not a matter of preparation, if it's not a matter of, oh, I'm not getting the reaction that I was expecting, and it's really you thinking that you can't do it, then let another DJ take over. I think this one is an easy one.
Oh, wow. It's getting heated. You know, time is not really on our side.
Well, I tell you, Facebook has some solid points, man.
I'm telling you.
I mean, this is good. I think we have to come up with a part two.
Yeah, we'll do a part two of this discussion, because I don't think we're getting anywhere today. There are so many other things that we need to discuss when it comes to this subject. So I think we'll have to go for a part two. But Mixmaster, let me come to you on this one. Yeah. There's something from Facebook. It says a lot of house and club DJs go and do their sets and go. Most of them have exactly the music for the set, and will play that without changing, regardless of who shows up. So now it comes back to the question where you're playing a gig where somebody like Snoop comes in there and whoever. As a DJ, do you think you still have to switch just because maybe your 4 songs that you have for Snoop, you think you still have to play just because he is Snoop?
You don't have to. You don't. Okay. You don't have to. But it will be a nice thing to do, not to make him Snoop happy, but to change the atmosphere a little bit. Everybody knows Snoop is Snoop. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But and somebody on the Facebook was saying that DJs have their set, they go play it and then go home. That's true. You don't have to change. But being versatile, like Quicks was saying, is something you can do. You can throw those 2-3 songs in there. You don't even have to play the full song, quarter song, just to spice things up a little bit, and then go back to your set again. It doesn't change anything. I'll
be honest with you. That particular statement, that whoever made that statement, it's absolutely wrong. See, don't plan a set from home. See, that's when DJs freeze.
Prince, you are taking that to a different angle, you know.
Yeah, but
we just spoke about preparing before you go.
Listen,
and now you are telling us not to plan our sets.
No, hold on. I'm just touching on what Albert said. Listen, somebody made that statement on Facebook, right? So you preparing your set, okay, and you go, what's set? 50 tracks or whatever, right? And you go, you play it, nice, huh? And then now what?
The party is finished. Everybody should go home.
I mean, come on, you know what I mean? Like you have to.
Please, I think I'll have to disagree a little bit on this one.
Okay, talk to me.
I think I'll have to disagree a little bit on this one because I'll say that yes, some DJs frown upon creating sets, right? But you know, I can't see myself, so I see some DJs frown upon making sets, but I think that the role of creating set is preparation, right? Now, it doesn't mean that after you created the set that you're going to stick to it verbatim, right? You're going to play song after song after the way you have to adapt still. So I personally think that when you create sets,
some people do go by what they've planned. I'm telling you, most DJs do.
No, they're not. If they do that, then that's wrong.
Yeah, you have
to. So now you see what my point is. We've still not been able to clear the space as to who really is a good DJ.
No. Because
we've still not been able to.
Okay, hold on. You're changing the topic. Let's address this. Hold on. We are not topic. Let's address that. Right. The topic is: should you stick to your set or should you adapt? And we have Prince and I. Prince is saying that look, some DJs stick to their set, and if that's what they're doing, then that's wrong. And I'm agreeing with that too. Like if no matter whether you've prepared or not prepared, if you're playing from a set and you're just sticking to the set, no matter what the reaction from the crowd is, then that's wrong. You're not adapting, right? If you're playing a set and it's not working for the crowd, then you got to move, right? But I'm also saying that
being adaptive is part of what makes you a good DJ.
Right. So this is consistent. This is consistent with the point of
what we were
adapting,
saying, yeah.
Right? This is very consistent with everything we've been saying. All we're saying is that. But again, you are minimizing the value of preparation, and that's where I'm coming. That's where I'm coming to that. Don't minimize that. The fact that you see, let me tell you, I'm one of the people that I love the idea of playing sets because even today, just before I got on, I got an inspiration and I was putting some nice energy set together. You know what I mean? Because what that does is it takes your creativity to another level. It takes your ability to take. Sometimes you're there, and today I grabbed like a hip hop song, and I grabbed a Ghanaian beat, and I was putting it all together in a very nice way, right? So, like when you're able to, look, every DJ, if you're good enough, look, if I have songs, I can just transition from one song to another, and I can be very creative at that live. But let me tell you something. That's not my best. That's not my best. My best is when I have really played with the song at home. I know the song intimately. I know every beat of the song. I know where they're saying yo. I know where it's just beat. I know where, and then I can just really chop it up and say, you know what, I'm going to take this part of the song and mix it up with that other song, and they go together nice. And this is what creating a set. Set is not just making a list. Set is building your creativity. That's what set to me really means, right? So I have created a set. Let's say I've created and sometimes when I really want to impress, when I'm going to play a festival, a big festival, and I really want to play, you best believe I'm going to put together a badass set. You know what I mean? Maybe do a couple, add it to what I already have. Now I go to the festival, I think this is the energy set. I'm going to kill it. And then sometimes I start the set and it's working. It's like everybody's fired up. But sometimes, guess what? The crowd is not really feeling the set. You know what I mean? And so then I have to be like, okay, you know what? This is not working. Let me jump to this other one. Or let me just do me. Let me just freestyle as a DJ, and then build them, warm them up, and then, switch it up a little bit. So all we're saying is, so with what I'm doing, what I just said, it's me being adaptive, right? I have my set. I'm ready to go, right? But the crowd is not feeling the set, and so I'm now switching it up and then moving and trying different things until I get the energy right. And then, you know, so we are not disagreeing the idea of being versatile and being adaptive. What we're saying is that when you have prepared, and preparation in this case means being able to put together a nice set. Set again is not making a list. Set is building your creativity, right? When you've created a nice set, it takes your game to a whole new level. That's really what we're saying.
Right. There are two people on Facebook who do not really agree with you.
Okay.
I've got help.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
He's saying, even if Jesus shows up, I'm not subjected to just play for him. Now there is Frederick Javon who is also saying that you need to stick to your game plan. You don't have to play to impress. Do DJs really play to impress people?
That is why you're there. You are there to impress people.
Some DJs do, yeah.
No, some DJs do, or it's a must for a DJ to play to impress people.
Let me tell you something. Why would you want to play to impress people? You want to play to impress your audience, okay? And be good at your craft.
But anybody that comes to your party and is listening to you, or just jumping from anywhere, like we're using Snoop as an example, it becomes your audience.
Boss, let me tell you something. So, you know what? What makes you a good, to become a great DJ is, number one, know your audience. Know what kind of event you're playing at, and where and what type of event it is. Okay? You have to know all of that. And know your age group too, because you know what? Even though you are an event whereby there's grown and sexy folks, you know, there's 16 and up and all that, you know, 60-40, okay? I'm talking maybe you have like, you know, people, you know, the younger crowd is like 40%, and then, you know, the older audience is 60%. Massa, I'm not gonna go stand there and try to impress these young ones. Number one. Later on in the night, yeah, we can switch it up. You know what I mean? And then just cater to them as well. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are on top of your game. Those kind of gigs are very difficult to play, I tell you, because you wanna try and please both sides. But you know what? Start with your grown folks first, please them, because I'm on check. They'll leave. And then later on, if you want to turn up,
don't make that mistake.
You know what I mean? Later on, if you want to turn up with the young ones, no, you can do that. But you know what? I mean, just be on top of your game. Pretty much it. I mean, you know, be on top of your game. Make sure, you know, like whatever you are doing, you know, okay, you are not there to flap yourself.
Listen, if you're a DJ and you are not, yeah.
You know what? This conversation, we're going to continue next week because we've passed our time, and I think it's actually getting heated by the minute.
We haven't even started yet. we haven't even gotten to sound. You know, listen.
No, yeah,
I think next week
that's true.
Yeah,
there are lots of questions that I've put up here that I've not even got to have of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, there are other ways how people have to look up to you growing up to become like DJs and stuff. There's a lot of questions that I've put up for us to, you know, discuss, but it's just that time is really not on our side. So at this point, I'll just want each one of you to share their last words. 1 minute, and then we'll bring this program to an end to be continued. We'll do a part 2 of this thing because it's a very broad topic. So I'll start with you, Quincy. I think you are on the floor.
Oh, well, I would say just because you're on the topic of impressing the crowd. Yes, I definitely think that my number one job when I'm going to play at any event is to impress the audience. Simple. If you're not going there to do that, don't bother. And that's why I have a few. I'll have to make sure I have a few tricks up in my sleeve. You have to be super creative. You have to play. You have to be dynamic. You have to be different. And look, put your showmanship on display, because that gig that you're playing, you can book. Let me tell you something, man. when I started playing, I grew organically only because every gig that I played, I got bookings from that. Simple as that. Every gig that I played, I got bookings, and that's how I grew. So if you're not playing,
and that came from from you being impressive,
and you being impressive, and that's me being everything that we've just talked about. Me being having my fundamentals in check, me being prepared, me being dynamic, me being adaptive, me being versatile, right, and me putting all my showmanship on display, and that's how I was able to get my bookings right.
You need a university degree. Mix master. I beg, being impressive or not, are you supposed to be impressive?
I'm sorry, DJing is show business, okay? You're in the entertainment business and it's all about show. You can't go out there and just go be basic. You're boring. You got to be able to wow your audience. Whichever way you know how to do it, do it. It's all about showmanship, like you're saying. Listen, if you can break and do stuff and get the audience to go, do it. But then, even if you're doing it in your specialized, the genre that you're specialized in, you still have to be able to get the crowd to leave and be like, wow, that guy was good. So whichever, if you have to jump on the table, do it. Whatever it is that it takes. And that is why nowadays you're seeing DJs have like a conga set next to them, like the drums, and playing with their set to enhance whatever it is that they're doing. So yes, definitely go for it. You cannot let your audience leave after a show not impressed with what you did. But I want the viewers to totally understand this, but before we go there, regardless of what specialty you're in, whatever genre you're in, regardless of if you don't know another genre or you are open format DJ or whatever it is, there's certain qualities of a DJ, and I don't want us to widen the goalposts. I want us to stick with it. There's certain qualities that we all DJs need to have, and which is being disciplined, being adaptive, having that research thing going. I mean, you have to have all of that. Mm-hmm. This is what makes for a good DJ. Now, we can expand the genre and all that stuff when we get there. But all the DJs that do all the different genres and all the different settings have certain things in common. And I need us to understand that. Once we get this, we wouldn't widen the goalposts at all.
All right. Prince.
Yes, sir.
Impressive or not?
You know what? Like I said, impress your audience.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Impress your audience. If you know, you know. I mean, get what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
So and that's what it boils down to. I mean, as a DJ, you have to have confidence too. You know, don't take a gig because, okay? Don't take a gig because you think you're a DJ and you can do that gig. Make sure you take a gig because you can do it and do it well. That's just the bottom line.
What about if you really need the money?
You know what? This is a lot of. I'm gonna be honest with you though. We joking here with it, but it's true. A lot of people do that to themselves.
That's what we'll be discussing next week.
Yeah, they feel like, they need the money, I'm gonna go put myself in an uncomfortable position whereby I know damn well that I cannot fulfill, that task.
Because ask yourself, how many of those DJs that take it for the money are popular right now?
Yeah.
I don't want us to, continue with this because, to be honest with you, I've got a very serious question with what you just said, but I'll hold on to that for next week. And
you know something else? You know something else?
Yeah.
I will just hint at it. We'll talk about it next week. We didn't talk about MCing.
We've not talked about MCing, and we've also not talked about DJs who don't really know how to even plug in a speaker cable. We will talk about that one next week. All right, viewers, thank you very much for your time with us live on the Spotlight Show. Can my Spotlight person do me the favor and the honors, please? This is the Spotlight Show coming to you from all over the globe. You know, we've got people watching from Ghana, everywhere, and we've been to the two great nations now, from US to UK, the rest in the travel. All right, we'll end the show today and we'll come your way next week, God willingly. We'll bring you another great show. We've got so much questions to answer on the same topic. Just as you did today, follow us on all our group pages, Blackstar DJs Worldwide on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere that you can find it. Just type in Blackstar DJs Worldwide. Join us. We have a group of 250 DJs trying to make music understandable to your hearing, not just dancing to the music, you know what I mean? But you need to dance with understanding. You need to listen to music with an understanding. So this is what it's part of what we want to do. I'd like to end the show by thanking my guests and you who also watch us on Facebook. Join us same time next week. And without much ado, I say I love you guys, and I'll see you when I see you. Salute.